right, are we ready? Welcome to Earthbound
Conversation
with Lindsay
and Sharon.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. We are having a Sunday mood and we are grateful, thankful, and blessed. And that brings us to our topic today is about gratitude. What are we grateful for? That's in our lives and the people that are in our lives and the things that we have. And I think I want to start out with Lindsay talking about gratitude.
Yeah, gratitude, just being appreciative sometimes of just being able to take a breath. I know a lot of the times I use gratitude as a way to get back into the present moment when I'm stressed.
Yes.
And to be, I'm thankful for this breath I'm taking. I'm grateful that my heart is beating.
Yes.
I'm grateful that I can move my legs and can be able to move myself independently.
Yes.
Just the simple things. It doesn't have to be something grand, it's being grateful to sometimes just be in existence.
Yes. I agree. I am grateful for breath in my body. I am thankful for my spouse, my family, my clients, my friends, my health, for voice, for confidence. Grateful for having everything I need and that my family is well, that all is well. When you're in gratitude, it doesn't mean that you're overly excited or that everything is going great in your life. However, what about the things we do have? Because typically when we can learn to be grateful for what we have, what do? We attract more things to be grateful and thankful for.
Because it's almost like with that law of attraction where you're sending in your order to the universe.
Yes.
What's in your thoughts, what you're saying, what you're putting out there.
Yes.
And so you're putting in your order every time. So if you're thinking, I'm grateful for all these good things in my life, I'm grateful for these experiences, I'm grateful for my connections with these people.
Yes.
I'm grateful even I'm grateful for my car that I have now. I'm grateful for the sunshine today. You start just getting more good back into your life because the universe hears that. It's like, oh, let's give her more good things. Let's give more of that to her.
That's right. And so, with that being said, before we started recording, I was telling you that, I'm grateful that I get to learn from you just as much as you learn from me, and you get to plant seeds. And it's just like, oh, wow, I didn't know I was that effective. So when we want to ask what is gratitude about, sometimes it's just gratitude that you have someone who inspires you. You have someone who feeds your soul. You have someone who learns to listen. You have someone that's like, oh, hey, I see you having a rough day. You want to go out for a walk? Or do you want to catch something to eat? Let's just catch up. Or someone brings you a gift and it's just like, oh, I'm so grateful for that. You don't know how much that moved me. So really being in gratitude, having that attitude of gratitude, even if things don't look great, because if we're always complaining and we're not grateful for things, then what happens,
We
Lindsay?
get more of that because we're so focused on just the things that aren't going well or the things that, it's like, oh, this gift wasn't really what I want. It's like, no, just be grateful that it's the thought that came into it. Someone thought of you when you were in their presence, weren't talking to them. They went, this would be something that they would appreciate or I want to give to them and be grateful for it. Be like, I'm grateful for the thought of this gift instead of, oh, I don't want that, or that's not the color that I usually like.
Yes.
It's like, no, I'm happy that they gave this to me.
Yes.
And especially a lot of times we can complain like, oh, I'm so upset it's raining today. It's like, well, I'm grateful for the rain. It's watering our crops. It's making sure we have food.
And beautiful flowers.
Yes, and beautiful flowers.
I love flowers.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And so it's seeing the positive of it and appreciation and seeing the different view, coming to a different viewpoint of it, switching your perception instead of it being so, just
tunnel
negative.
Vision, oh, why this? Why they had to give me this when I asked for chicken, they gave me fish.
It's see the bigger picture.
That's right, and the more we're in gratitude, is the more we allow ourselves to receive. And I know we live in a world, a day and time where we are ungrateful and we complain. We complain so much. I find myself, you guys, doing it myself sometimes. And then you find people saying, "Oh, you're just so negative," and you're like, "But I'm the most positive person that you can know." But it's just like, if you really backtrack on how much we complain even about a situation when it feels uncomfortable to us.
Yeah.
And when things are uncomfortable, it should be, okay, what is the lesson to learn so that you can be grateful? Because as I said to you earlier, the lesson keeps coming up and showing up and appearing until we get it.
Yes.
No matter how much you run away from it, you can move from job to job, relationship to relationship. I have done sessions with people where I say, thank them for the experience. Mm-hmm. Because once you get the lesson, you get to move on. Mm-hmm. And that's a grateful experience. I personally had experiences like that. I remember dating a guy and he said, Sharon, I've taken you as far as I can take you. And I had to respect him for that. Because he was letting me know that our journey together was complete.
Yeah.
And I had to learn to be grateful for the experiences that I had with him. And I tell people all the time, God is the source and everything else is a resource. So however the lesson needs to be learned, we can learn to be grateful for the experience and learn to thank people. Thank you for that experience. Or even if someone gave you a gift and you don't really care for it, I really thank you for thinking of me. And you can re-gift it if you like. Mm-hmm. Or if you feel like people don't pay attention to you, teach them about you. Music Soul Child has a song called Teach Me How to Love. Show me the way to surrender my heart. I am so lost. Teach me how to love. And so it's just like, that's a part of, gratitude as well, is those teachable moments.
Yeah.
And learning to really absorb and receive, like, okay, I could be grateful for that.
Yeah.
I stubbed my toe. I'm grateful for that, even though it hurt like hell.
It's like, at least I can feel it.
Not only that, but it's teaching me to pay attention. Maybe you're moving too fast. You have too much going on.
It brings you back to that present moment.
That's right.
I always feel like that with people who go like, I hate Mercury retrograde.
Yeah.
They're like, I hate Mercury retrograde. It makes me everything slow down, or I'm clumsy. And it's so funny. I am the type where when it comes around, I am the clumsy one, but I get excited. I changed my perspective on it a couple years ago when I first learned about it, and I learned about my different transits and how that affects me astrological wise when it comes around. And I start going, Mercury retrograde's my best friend. Mercury's my best friend. When it goes into retrograde, I'm excited. I get to slow down and learn from it, and I get to be more in the moment, and blessings come to me during that time, and I enjoy the retrograde, and I surrender to the retrograde, and I'm grateful for all it has to teach me, instead of going, oh no, Mercury retrograde is here.
Yes. Well, explain to people who may not know what Mercury retrograde is, because for me, I didn't know the astrology side of things so much, and when I started hearing Mercury retrograde, I started being like other people, like, oh, well, Mercury retrograde happened, or this happened, this is why this is malfunctioning, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So sometimes when we're speaking about things, well, people are like, well, what is that?
Yeah, so when a planet retrogrades, it almost looks like it's going backwards. And a lot of the times, energy-wise, it helps to kind of, it slows things down a lot of the times for people. Because we had even Venus retrograde, and a lot of people felt it in January. But Mercury rules communication, travel, technology. So it affects a lot of that. So a lot of the times when it's retrograde and communication is really messed up for people, it's almost like they said it, we could talk to one another. It's like, I don't fully understand. And you can say it as clear as you can. And it's like we have to slow down sometimes because of how energetically that retrograde is affecting everybody.
It's like we're going into a rewind instead of a fast forward.
Yes.
Like, let's take a
review.
Yes.
It's all like the reviews. Let's reevaluate.
Yes.
That's kind of what the retrograde is for. And a lot of people will say, oh, don't do this during the retrograde. Don't do that. It's like, no, you just want to have a good plan in place.
And be cautious as well. Being mindful. I say this all the time. I said this with a client just a couple of days ago. I said, the only time you're fully present is when you're sitting in this room with me. And she said, you know what? You're right. And I said, sometimes you are too far thinking about the past, or you're trying to fast forward to the present that's not even technically promised to you, because people are dropping like flies all the time here on the planet. It's been very interesting in the past few years of what we have been experiencing, the intensity of it. And it's not that people are not dying every day, but I think when it's being broadcast, then it's like, oh shoot, I'm not immortal, so to say. And so
it breaks the illusion.
Yes, it does. So it's just like learning to be present. And that's part of the gratitude part too, is to learn to be fully present and where you're at, so you're not rushing to get to the next thing, or we're so caught in the past with experiences. I read in a book called Sunlight on Water where it says people don't know their potential based on their experiences. And what I mean by that, to everyone who's listening, if you're used to the same thing happening, the same outcomes happening in new situations, because you don't know your potential and you're still caught up on the past and you haven't learned from the experience, you keep manifesting those same exact experiences. Oh, well, I'm never lucky enough, or I can't win this, or good things doesn't happen to me. Every time I try this out, this is the outcome. So there's no gratitude there either. You're already putting that negative energy out into the universe. So it's one of those things to really learn to be fully present, be grateful for the experience you're having, even if it feels uncomfortable. And gratitude, it doesn't mean that it won't feel uncomfortable. What is this to teach me? Or my teacher always says, it's not happening to you.
It's happening for you.
That's right. And that's another thing to keep in mind. I always say, if I can get people to shift their perception, then it's easy to get you to surrender for a better outcome, so that you can be grateful for the experience. What else do we want to say about gratitude?
Yeah, it's definitely just having that appreciation for life and all the experiences. It just goes back to how I feel about like what Tantra, where it's just being appreciative of even the pains and finding the blessings in it, how you said. And because then that just means you're alive. It's like, I think we always want to control how life is going to go.
That's right.
We always want to have the reins on everything and want it to go our way. And instead of surrendering to, divine will.
That's right. That ego really overrides a lot.
A lot of the times we allow the ego to just take the wheel when it's a tool. It's for us to help navigate this human experience, to operate in this three-dimensional body, and and the ego is a three-dimensional, thing. It's for us, and it's just a tool. It's a tool just like what cards. It's a tool just like a shovel.
And my teacher always says that ego means edging God out, which means you thinking that you can do it yourself. And sometimes God will let us wear ourselves thin and tired. And when we're so exhausted that we're like, I surrender, I can't do it anymore. Right when you get to that point of like, I just don't care anymore. It is what it is. That's when we have left room for God to work. Why not try doing that ahead of time? But, I feel like in this human experience, because we are spiritual beings having a human experience, it's that being able to touch and have control. And again, as I always say, the anxiety and depression, it usually comes because we're used to always being in control. We have to know what's going to happen next. It's even when people come for spiritual counseling and guidance, I said, okay, well, Holy Spirit is not allowing me to tell you what this is. This is a process you have to go through. You have to learn. And sometimes I could see things and I don't want to feel like I'm holding back from somebody. However, part of this journey is learning to trust and surrender and to be into gratitude. All right, are we ready to close out on this segment of gratitude?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope that this episode on gratitude has really uplifted you and you can find something to be grateful for today. Actually, I'll give you some homework. Write down 5 things you're grateful for today.
That's right. We are grateful, thankful, and blessed that you have been tuning in to get an encouraging word from us. And we would highly appreciate it if you would click like, share,
and subscribe.
Thank you for tuning into Earthbound Conversations. Stay tuned for more episodes. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye!